Well, the Friday the 13th franchise has some of the most unique characters in all of horror. And today I'm going to be putting 155 of them. That's right, I said 155 characters from the Friday the 13th franchise into a tier list. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a long one.
If you like horror, hit that notification bell, smash that like button, and push that subscribe button now.
What's the boogeyman?
Hello, Sydney.
Welcome to my nightmare. We want the man who did this.
Welcome to Nick Push's Horror Channel.
How's it going, everybody? I'm Nick Push. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, appreciate you guys checking this out, and welcome to all my returning viewers. I appreciate you guys as always. So like I said, I'm going to be ranking 155 characters from the Friday the 13th franchise into a tier list. We got 6 categories. They are as follows. Iconic. Pretty much, sums it up. That's the best of the best. And I'm going to be ranking them. Are they iconic in this franchise? Next up, stupendous. This is some great characters in this franchise. Next, relatively memorable. So they're good characters, and when you say their name to a horror fan or a Friday fan, you know who they're talking about. Next category, who? These are characters either who I don't know who the fuck they are, or they're just not memorable. At all, but they're not like so shitty, that, they deserve a lower tier. Next up is going to be Farthead. If you're a Friday 6 fan, you know where that reference is coming from. And that is shitty characters. And then we have the category of dead fuck. That sums it up. They're a dead fuck, a lousy limb, right? A dead fuck. We'll see where everyone lands. I would assume most are going to be somewhere in the middle, but it's going to be fun to go through this. Looking at this list that someone created, like I said, it has 155 characters. Looking at this list, it includes every single movie in the franchise except for the remake. So remake characters, we'll have to do you on a separate list. So Trent and Jared Padalecki and all those people, you're going to be on a separate list. As far as I can tell, Jason is not on here. Obviously, he would be in Iconic, in case you're wondering. I think I'm pretty decent with most of these names here. I might have to do some guessing, or I might say, this is a character from this movie. I pretty much know who everybody is. Maybe I'll have a nickname for them. But there's a lot to go through. So enough said. Let's get right into this. And before I do this, real quick, tell me down below if there's any more tier lists you guys would want to see me do, or ranking videos you'd want to see me do. These are always fun for me to do. Especially, when it's not a live video, but I'm using a live format where I'm kind of thinking my thought process through. I enjoy that. I feel like it's more organic. I feel like it's more real, and you get more me, for better or worse, right? So tell me down below, which other type of tier list you want to see me do. And as always, if you're new here and you like stuff like this, please subscribe to the channel, or at least consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. All right, we've been going almost 4 minutes, and we haven't even done anyone yet. Let's get right to it. All right, first up here, we got the android. I can't remember the android's name, from Jason X. We're going to put her in, I think she's relatively memorable. I kind of want to go who, but I think she's relatively memorable. Not a great character, but, she had some good battle scenes with Uber Jason. And just so you guys know, that who category, some of it is literally going to be, what the word who means, like who the fuck are you? And some's just going to be, you're middle of the road, but kind of a little bit towards the bottom. So a little bit of a double meaning there. All right, next, we got Scott from Friday Part 2. What is Scott's character trait? He's a fucking pervert, right? But other than that, he didn't really bring anything else to the table. He got caught in a bear trap. That's about it. Scott is a fart head. He's an idiot. He's a dumbass character. Next, we're going to Friday 3, and we got Harold. Harold and Edna owned that store, that Jason, killed him at the beginning and got his new clothes, right? Harold, I'm putting him into relatively memorable. Obviously, just a little bit of screen time, but he's eating, what is he eating? Fish food and just stuffing his face, and Edna's calling him fat, even though he's not fat. He's pretty memorable. He's a memorable character in the Friday lore. Harold is relatively memorable. Now we got the Admiral from the captain of the ship, whatever you want to call it, from Jason Takes Manhattan. This guy sucked. He's a dead fuck. He's a terrible father. Doesn't realize that his kid doesn't want to be a ship captain, and he's still gifting him, shit to run a ship. And he's disappointed when his son doesn't want to do it. He's never actually had a real conversation with his son. He's a dead fuck as a father. So, next we got, and here's where I'm gonna start struggling a little bit with names. We got the short guy from Jason Goes to Hell, the short guy at the diner. We're going to put him into Who. I thought he was a decent character, but nothing really memorable about him. And if you guys haven't seen, I'm saving the iconic for like elite people in this franchise. And Stupendous, it has to be a really good character. I think a lot of these people are going to fall in the middle. I'm trying to be a tough grader, but we'll see what happens here. Next, we got Megan from Friday 6, essentially the final girl from Friday 6. Megan is stupendous. She is one of the best final girls in the franchise. Reason I'm not going to put her as iconic quite yet is she never really had a battle with Jason. Jason came out, grabbed her head, and then Tommy started calling him, maggot head, whatever. So, next we got Steven from Jason Goes to Hell. Steven, you are a fart head because you're like in your 30s and you're still wearing your Letterman's jacket. Lame. Terrible. Okay. Next we got one of the coroners from Jason Goes to Hell. This is not the guy that ate Jason's heart. It's the other guy who I believe was like a co-writer on this movie. He can go into Who. Because nobody gives a shit. Speaking of Who, we got one of the randos from Jason X. Nobody gives a shit. Next, we got from Freddy vs. Jason, the guy, I think it's the guy that Jason twists his head, and he's like, why don't you go get a pig to fuck? Or something like that. He's a fart head. He's a douchebag. He tries taking care of Jason by throwing Everclear on him or some shit. Terrible. Next, we got the nerdy guy with the video camera from Jason Takes Manhattan. This guy is a dead fuck. He's terrible. He is terrible. And also, I see Jason is on this list, so I have been mistaken. But yeah, that nerdy guy, I can't even remember his name. He came in to, with the what the hell's not the professor, the teacher, Charles McCullough, and the blonde chick when she's trying to seduce him and blackmail him. He's videotaping that, and he gets a rando death. He's a dead fuck. That character sucked. Now we got the hitchhiker from Friday 4. Gets her cut right through the neck while she's eating a banana. She's relatively memorable. For just a few second scene, she's got personality. She's flipping them off or whatever. She's good. Next, we got Harold's wife, Edna from Friday Part 3. She's a bitch. Like I said, she's calling Harold fat. He's not even that fat. She's a fart head. She is a fart head. Terrible. Next, we got Andy from Friday 3. Andy has my favorite death in the franchise. He's walking on his hands. Jason chops him in half from the balls down. He's really memorable for what? Walking on his hands. We're going to put him in the middle of the pack here for Who, just because he has a good death. Next, we have Joey. Joey loves his chocolate, and he set off the chain of events. Well, he convinced Vic to set off the chain of events for Roy's murder spree in Friday 5. Joey is annoying as fuck. I'm not saying he should have got an axe in the back, but he's annoying as fuck, but he's memorable. He's memorable. He's relatively memorable. So we're staying right there. Speaking of relatively memorable, we have the chick from Jason X that gets the cryogenic freeze. Her death is so fucking memorable that even though she brings really nothing to the table, like at all, in the movie, her death is so memorable. and one of the best deaths in the franchise, that she is going to that category. Next, we got Alice, the original final girl of the franchise. Gotta be iconic, right? I don't know. I don't know if I can put her in iconic. I think she's decent enough, but I can't even put her in stupendous. She's memorable for me because she's the first final girl of the franchise, but I can't put her any higher than that. There are better final girls in this franchise. Doesn't mean Adrienne King is a bad actress or did a bad job. It just means her character was not very interesting to me. Next, we got Ali, one of the bikers from Friday 3. Here's some controversy. Ali's going into stupendous. This guy's funny. The way in the picture here, he's smiling at Shelly before he busts the windshield, and then he actually saves Chris's life at the end. You know, when he comes back for a second and gets his arm chopping off. He's a stupendous character. I like Ali. I think he's cool. So he is stupendous. Next, we got Ginny Field. No argument for me. She is the first person I'm putting in iconic. My favorite final girl from the franchise. Child psychology. Puts on Jason's mom's sweater. Yada, yada, yada. Ginny is awesome. I think she's most people's favorite final girl. And I would agree with that. Next, we have, I think this is Demon's girlfriend from Friday 5. We're going to put her in Who. She got a nice song sung to her. That's about it. Next, we got Annie, the person we thought was probably going to be the final girl in the franchise. For Annie, we're going to put her in relatively memorable just because I thought she should have been the final girl in the original movie. I thought she was a good character. Yeah, that's about it. Next, we got a fart head. This is a guy from Friday 5 that is sitting outside the diner. And, you know, he's like, he orders something. I'll take a Lana with nothing on it or something. Just a sleazeball. He's a fart head to me. Not quite a dead fuck because he didn't piss me off that much. But close enough. He's a fart head. Next, we got one of the characters from Friday 7. I think he was the one in the van where him and his girlfriend are in the van instead of the house. He's a who? He didn't make any impression. Next, we got Brenda, I think. Yeah, Brenda from the original Friday the 13th. We didn't even get to see her die, right? I mean, we did see Mrs. Voorhees lure her out by saying, help me, help me. Other than that, Brenda was one of the She's a meh character in the franchise. Next we got, can't even tell. We're gonna go who? Who is that? If you know, comment down below if you know who that is. I'm guessing it's someone from Jason X. Speaking of Jason X, we got what's this guy? Captain or deputy? I can't remember. It stinks because I can't remember his name right now offhand, but I know he's a good character. We're going to put him in relatively memorable. He's kind of the one that was saving them at the end of the movie. Remember, Jason's flying back towards the ship, and he kind of sacrifices himself, and him and Jason burn up into the atmosphere. Good character. He was kind of the residential badass of that ship. Next, we got one of the paintballers from Friday 6. Maybe the most memorable paintballer, because I think this is the guy that was like the misogynist. She should be in the kitchen where she belongs. He's memorable. He's a douchebag, but he's pretty memorable. So we're going to put him up there because I think he was funny. And, you know, if you're going to make a character, you know, such a misogynist and such an asshole like that, especially an over the top that way, you can give him a good death scene. And Jason rips his arm off, right? Gets a smiley face on the tree. Next, we got one of the twins. I mean, they're memorable, but they don't deserve to be that high. You know, they each had a couple interesting deaths. I don't even know which twin this is. It might be both of them. They're going to be the first female down in Farthead. Because they just show up looking to get laid, right? Nothing else. Didn't bring anything else. Next, we got Charles McCullough. Might be the biggest asshole in the franchise. Might be. Is he memorable enough and good enough of a character to be towards the top of the list? I am going to say no. He's a dead fuck. I'm sorry. This guy played him perfectly, Charles McCullough, but I just hate this character. Like, I don't hate what he did with him, but he's such an asshole. Like, he's too over the top, right? All right, next we got Chuck from Friday 3, it looks like. He's a fart head. He just cares about getting stoned, nothing else. Got a good death scene where he turns on the electrical stuff and Jason's standing behind him. Great scene, by the way. Great fucking scene. But other than that, why is Chuck even hanging out with these kids? Whatever, different story. Next, we have one of the counselors from Friday 6. What did she bring? She's the one, I think, that's talking about the card game with Jason and the cabins, right? And Jason pulls her out the window and turns her neck around. She's gonna go into Who. She's middle of the road. Speaking of middle of the road, next guy is one of the captains of the ship from Jason X. You can go in Who too. Next we have Chris Higgins, Final Girl from Friday the 13th, Part 3D. I love Chris. She's going up into iconic. One of the best final girls in the franchise. Maybe top 3. And her chase with Jason in Friday 3, from the house to the car, the van, to the barn is fucking incredible. It might be my favorite final chase scene in horror history. It's that good. And she really brings the hammer to Jason, or the axe, I should say, to Jason. So she is iconic to me. Next we got, looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Some guy wearing a vest. It might be one of the campers from Friday 7. So he can go into Who. Next we got Friday 6, the guy that is driving in the car with Tom McLaughlin's wife. And he's actually the dude from Tony Goldman, I think his name is, from Ghost. He can go into Who. He's another character. He tries to shoot Jason. Next we got the deckhand from Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. He's a wannabe Crazy Ralph, right? He's a fart head. Why not just have Crazy Ralph still around? They shouldn't have killed him in Friday 2. Dumb. Next we got those damn enchiladas. Demon. Demon's stupendous. He is stupendous. Absolutely great. Next we got Deputy Winslow from Friday Part 2. He's the one that finds Jason's shack in a great scene. It's kind of daylight still or dusk, and he's running Jason. Like, he's a good character. He's just trying to keep the peace and tell Paul Holtz that you're too close. He is going to be in relatively memorable for me. I know a lot of people might put him into Who category, but for me, he's pretty memorable. Next, we got the dude that's killed in the shower in Friday 4. I can't remember his character's name, but I think the actor's name is Peter Barton. We are going to put him, he's got a good death scene, but other than that, of all the characters in Friday 4, he might be the least memorable. So he can go into Who. Speaking of Who, I have no idea who this next guy is. Might be one of the, I don't know who that is. Is he one of the military guys in Jason X? Either way, it's going into Who. Next, we got the guy from Friday 5 who is obsessed with having sex with Pamela Sue Voorhees' character. And he gets the, I think that's him, that he gets the, the belt or whatever around his eyes. Cool death. He's a fart head. Why are you having sex in the woods, man? You got a whole cabin. with all these different rooms. And you guys are laying on the ground in the woods? What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, next we got Eddie, the sci-fi geek from Friday 7. This guy is a dead fuck. He's even worse of a dead fuck than Jimbo's character, terrible. He's just complaining the whole time. He's got no confidence. What's her name? Melissa is trying to, she's trying to make Nick jealous, right? And he's not taking advantage of the situation. Dumb. He's a dead fuck. Next, we got the sheriff guy from Freddy vs. Jason. Sorry. Jason Goes to Hell, I mean. This guy's a fart head. He's a dumbass. He's not memorable, and he's wrong the whole time. Speaking of Jason Goes to Hell, we got the FBI agent from the beginning. There's some stuff about her that's pretty memorable. So she's going to go to relatively memorable. I think you know what I'm getting at. If you don't, watch Roadhouse. It's the same actress. Next, we got, what the hell's this guy's name? He drives Annie to halfway to Crystal Lake or whatever, right at the beginning of the original Friday the 13th. I can't remember his name. Earl, maybe? Is it Earl? I can't remember. He's a fascinating character because he's yelling at Ralph, right? He is yelling at Ralph. Oh, Ralph is crazy. And then she gets in the car, and he's kind of telling her the same thing. What are you doing out doing this, you know? So he's like, he believes in the curse, but he didn't want to outwardly show that. He also felt up Annie. So let's put him right in the middle of the pack. We'll put him in the Who category. Next, we got Ethel from Friday 5. Ethel's stupendous. This chick's awesome. You know, she's got a potty mouth like you've never seen before. I got a bomb on me, Sheriff. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. She really hams up the cheese factor of Friday 5 in a good way. There's a lot of characters in that movie that ham it up in a bad way. Ethel hams it up in a good way. I like that character. Next, we got the chick from Jason Takes Manhattan, played by Kelly Hu. Just because she's got a brutal death scene, we're going to put her into the Who category. Otherwise, she'd be largely forgotten. But she's got a good death scene and played by an actress who we all know. But I still can't put her higher than Who. Next, we got... Oh, who the hell is this? She looks familiar. I can't tell offhand. She goes in the Who category. That's what we're going to start doing. If I don't know you, you can go in the Who category. We know this next person needs no introduction. Tom Matthews' version of Tommy Jarvis. Pretty sure this is probably the only Tommy Jarvis on here. It's iconic. The first male up in the iconic section. Next, we got, what's-her-face, the final girl from Freddy vs. Jason. She's okay. The Who category is reserved for just okay people as well. And that's all she was. She's okay. That's about it. Another Freddy vs. Jason person who's just, okay. Next we got the Jay and Silent Bob dude, the Jay guy from Freddy vs. Jason. He's a fart head. That guy sucked. He's an idiot. He has one good line. That goalie was pissed off, man. That's it. It's the only thing he brings. Next is a character I do not know. Probably Jason X. Someone on the ship, right? Next, we got Reggie the Reckless's grandpa. This was a sweet man. A good grandpa. I liked the relationship between him and Reggie. I still got to put him just in the Who category, just as though he's not that memorable. Next, another Freddy vs. Jason person. This is Catherine Isabel, by the way. We are gonna put her in the Who category. She got killed off relatively early in the film. Her boyfriend Trey, obviously, got killed off in a much more brutal way. But yeah, Freddy was stalking her pretty good. She had some good scenes with that. But other than that, not too much. All right, back to Friday 3. We got Fox. Fox is a great character. One of the bikers. She's going in relatively memorable. I like that character. I thought she was a good character. And I think the actress, unfortunately, just died within the last couple of years. Gloria Charles, maybe, or something like that is her name. But she was a good actress and a very good character. Really just kind of brought out this is the early 80s movie with those bikers. But I enjoyed it. Next, we got the final guy. What the hell is his name? Scott? I can't remember. From Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. The fact that he survived this film, he was in the whole film, and I do not remember his name, tells you he's an idiot. His father, the captain or admiral or whatever, is a dead fuck. Is he going to join him? No, but not much higher. He can go in the fart head. Next, we got dude from Friday 2. What the hell's his name? Steve? No. I can't remember. Jeff. Jeff is going to go into Who Good death scene with Sandra. That's about it. Another Who is the random girl from Jason X. As you guys can see, I'm not keeping track. I've seen Jason X a number of times, but not as much as I've seen some of these other movies. So if I see someone from Jason X that doesn't really stand out to me, they're just gonna go in the Who category because there's 155 characters, like I said. All right, next we got Jack from the original Friday the 13th. Jack is relatively memorable for one reason: the fact that he's played by Kevin Bacon. We'll put him in memorable. You know, he's not a great character. He's not a bad character either. But he's played by Kevin Bacon. Next, we got one of the loser nerds from Friday 5. He's going to go in the Who category, along with, I believe, the next girl who, in Friday 5, turned down his advances, laughed in his face, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's her. Next, we got one of the chicks from Jason X. Looks like she is the one that the professor was, or that was like putting clamps on the professor's nipples. It's just weird behavior. She's a fart head. I don't like that weird behavior. Fart head. Next we got, is that Jessica from Jason Goes to Hell. See, I'm 155 characters. I'm going nuts here trying to get my wording right. But Jessica, technically she is Jason Voorhees' niece, right? She's a shitty character. A really shitty character. She's a fart head to me. She's a shitty character. I mean, I like Steven, who I also have in the fart head category. I like him more than her. Next, we got badass rocker chick from Jason Takes Manhattan. Plot twist here. I'm throwing her in relatively memorable. Why? Because she just reeks of the late 80s. You know, they could have done some better shit with her. I mean, I'm sure her death scene would have been butchered by the MPAA if they would have shot more of it. You know, Jason takes the guitar and smashes it. But she just reeks of the late 80s, and I think that's cool. And I'm putting her in relatively memorable. Next, we got, I don't know. Looks like some cop. I don't know. He can go in the Who category. Next, we got, is that Crispin Glover? That is Crispin Glover. His character, he's definitely memorable. But is he a terrible character? Is he a dead fuck, the person who this term was originally made for? I am going to say no. He is probably the biggest arc. He's a likable guy. I'm going to put him in Stupendous. And not just because of the dance, right? I think he's one of the characters in this franchise that feels like a real person. You know, he actually has a backstory, an arc. You know, whether it's interesting or not, that's up to you. But for me, he is a stupendous character. Next, we got another person that worked at the diner in Jason Goes to Hell. I think she died when she got like her mouth bashed in, which was pretty gnarly. Yeah, she can be in Who. Next, it looks like we got Tina Shepard's father. Can't remember his name. I'll say something. You beat your wife, drunk or sober, you beat your wife, you're a dead fuck. He can end up there. And he also, he saved the day at the end, though. Fuck off. That's terrible. Next, we got one of the greasers from Friday 5, I believe. He can go in the Who category. He's lame. Let's see how many we got. All right, we're getting there. We're about halfway through, guys. We're about halfway through, it looks like. It's crazy. This is a hell of a fucking list. Since we're about halfway through, I'm going to continue in a second. Tell me below, guys, as I'm doing this, or at the end or beginning or whatever, tell me below, which ones did I get way wrong on? Do I have someone that's a dead fuck that you guys think is iconic or vice versa? Tell me in the comments. As always, I love hearing your guys' opinion, and this is a doozy of a tier list here. So let's continue. We got Jason Goes to Hell. This dude that clearly had the slug. Is that Josh? That's that Deputy Josh or whatever. He sucked. He's going to go in the Who category. No, he's a fart head. That guy sucked. He's a fart head. Yeah. Next, we got some rando. I think she might be Friday 7. The fact that I question it means she's going in the Who. Next, we got Julius. My man Julius. Obviously a famous death scene where Jason knocks his head off. But his character had a lot of depth before that. You know, he is the boxing champ. And he's still, you know, he has an arc. He's helping these other people out. I like Julius. Julius is a stupendous character for me. Next, we got Junior. Maybe one of the most annoying characters in the franchise. And that's saying something. Junior. He's memorable. He's Ethel's kid. He's memorable. He's not going to go as high as his mom, but he's memorable. Next, Jason Voorhees. Do I even need to fucking say anything? It's Friday the 13th list. Come on. He's iconic. Next, we got, looks like, it's the other character that was sleeping in the van in Friday 7. She can go in the Who. Next is the chick paintballer that kind of starts that one guy, the misogynist, to go off on his rant. You know, she beats these guys, but other than that, not very memorable. Let's go with Kelly Rowland's character. They tried giving her a little bit of an arc. They tried doing something interesting with her where she was nice to whatever that fuck dweeb's name is in this movie. They tried. But she was wholly unlikable the whole part of the movie before that. She's a fart head. She is a fart head. Next, a character. I don't even know who you are, so you're going Who. For some reason, they have Freddy Krueger in here. It's like a part of me wants to not put Freddy in iconic, right? Because this is a Friday the 13th list. Is Freddy iconic in Friday the 13th lore? I don't know. But I can't not put him in iconic, right? He's Freddy Krueger. Next, we got, I think her name's Lana, right? I mentioned her earlier. She's one. It's Showtime. That's the only thing she's memorable for. Is it memorable enough to do anything, though? No. She can go in the Who category. Another douchebag paintballer can go in the Who category. Let me get rid of some of these people. Here's the dude that I was talking about with Kelly Rowland. You know, it's funny because Kelly Rowland, I said, you know, they tried to do something with her character. Lieberman, that's his name, Lieberman. They tried to do something with her character where they redeemed her a little bit at the end for, you know, not giving Lieberman the time of day. And it didn't really work for me. But I'll tell you what else didn't work for me. The character of Lieberman. This guy sucked. This guy's a dead fuck. They tried bringing some emotional weight with his death at the end, and it didn't work for me. Why? Because the character sucked ass. He is a dead fuck. Next, we got Tom McLaughlin's wife, Nancy. She is the one with Tony Goldman at the beginning-ish of Jason Lives. She is I kind of want to put him in memorable because of the American Express thing, but nah, she belongs in the Who. Next, we got the third biker. Can't think of his name offhand. He's one. Reh, reh. You know, he like barks always has a cigarette in his mouth. He's relatively memorable because the dude always has a cigarette in his mouth. Always. Even when like he sees Jason or sees Fox's body, it like kind of slowly falls out. You know, they're siphoning gas and he's got a lit cigarette in his mouth. Ridiculous. Next, we have... God, I have no idea. I guess he's a Who category. Kind of looks like Andy Barclay from Child's Play 3. Speaking of Who, no idea who this next one is. All right, next we got the nerdy dude from Friday 7 that gives herself a makeover, right? That chick sucked too. She sucked. She's a fart head. Terrible. Friday 7 is fucking god-awful characters, by the way. All right, next we have Mark, the wheelchair guy from Part 2. I like his character. He is stupendous. Not only does he have an awesome death, he gets some depth, he gets some backstory. I think he is a great, great character. Even take his death away, and he's a great character. He's got some sympathy to himself. You know, he's like, nothing ruins a party, nothing ruins a buzz than a drunk in a wheelchair. You know, he's got some depth to him where he feels a little sorry for himself, but not really. You know, he's an interesting character. Next we got, is that Matt, the leader of the camp in Friday 5? He could have been a good character. He really could have been. but he was not. He was meh. So he's a who. Next is that Robin from Friday 7? I don't know. She can go in the who category. All right, next we got Melissa, probably the biggest bitch in the franchise. So does she belong with the biggest asshole in the franchise, Charles McCullough? No, because I find her so big of a bitch that I find it comical. She's going to be a stupendous character. Probably the highest, most memorable character in Friday 7 besides Jason and maybe Tina, right? Speaking of Friday 7, I think this next guy is that Nick's cousin. He's a who. I think this who category is getting so big. That's what happens when you got such a long list of characters. Crazy. All right, next. One of the characters from Jason Takes Manhattan. Like the friend of the Scott guy, whatever the main dude is. Nothing. Brought nothing to the table. So he can go into who. Let's move him over so we can keep this in order. Next, we got Court. Court from Friday 6. He is relatively memorable. I think he's John Travolta's like nephew or something like that. But he's memorable. He's a decent enough character. He gets a cool death scene in the RV. It's got, a cool outfit, perfect for the late 80s or 86 when this came out. He's a good character. Next, we got, is that Debbie from Friday 3. She's the one that dies in the hammock. I've always liked her character. She's pregnant, which is crazy that Jason killed the pregnant person and was just kind of glossed over. She's memorable to me. She is memorable. Unless she mentions that she's pregnant like 6 different times. Whatever. Next, we got the original prankster, Ned, from the original Friday the 13th. Ned. Where do you put Ned? I can't put him in who, but I can't put him in stupendous either. He's pretty memorable. He's got the funny line with the Indian when he's being the Indian or Native American people. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. So if you're offended that I said Indian, get over it. But Ned is the original prankster, kind of. He kind of started the template, right? He started the template, so he's going to be in relatively memorable. Next, we have a character I've mentioned a couple times, Friday 7, the character of Nick, who has a crush on Tina, right? This guy's a fart head. He's a shitty-ass character. I'm sorry. He just is. He just is. I find him bland and boring. Next, we got Nurse Morgan from Friday the 13th, Part 4. I think it's Nurse Morgan. She's the one that Jason cuts, from, sternum to stomach or whatever the hell it's called. I didn't mind her character. But what the hell are you thinking? She is absolutely going to be a farthead because there's no reason. She's too good for Axel. She's too good that she should not be messing around with Axel. I am sorry. I'm going to go down a little bit here. This list is so big that you can't see everyone. Next, we got Mrs. Voorhees. Where do you think she's going? She's fucking iconic, of course. Of course. Next, we got Pam from Friday 5. I can't believe this list is still going. Let me see. Oh my God, we still got 2.5 rows left. This is crazy. All right, Pam from Friday 5. She's nice enough. She's a decent character in the franchise. I don't think she's memorable though. Maybe it's the movie she's in. Maybe. But she's gonna go into the Who. Speaking of Who, Friday 6, dude with the mustache, cop with the mustache, you can go in the Who category as well. Oops. All right, Friday 6, one of the other counselors, she's going to be in the Who category. Paul Holt's time. Paul Holt, if you know me, you know he's one of my favorite characters in the franchise. He is a stupendous character. I can't put him in iconic. I want to put him in iconic. But I want to reserve the word iconic for the best of the best, and Paul Holt is just almost there. Next, we got the other dude from Friday the 13th, Part 4. The dude that is flirting with the twins, and then Samantha is on the raft. Can't even remember his name. He's just not memorable at all. He's going to go in the Who category. Next, I think we got one of the guys that dies in the car in Friday the 13th Part 5. He's also going to go in the Who category. Next, we got the coroner guy from Jason Goes to Hell. Remember the one that eats the heart? He played Jason for a long time in the movie, so he can go into relatively memorable. Crazy Ralph. Iconic. He's in 2 movies in this franchise. Yet he might be he might be the most quoted character in the franchise. You know, it's got a death curse. And if he's not, it doesn't matter. He's fucking iconic. All right, the cop from Jason Goes to Hell, the one that's buddies with Steven, is a dead fuck. That guy sucked. He's an idiot cop. He sucked. Reggie the Reckless is stupendous. He's got a stupendous scream, and he's a good character. Rinny, the final girl from Jason Takes Manhattan. I'm sorry, not a good character. Why is she having all these visions of Jason? She's going to go in the Who category. Now, I've seen interviews with her. And, it's not Laura Berkling. Who the hell's her name? I can't remember her name. I've seen interviews with this actress, and she seems wonderful. But the character itself is not memorable at all, which is sad for being a final girl. All right, the next 2 characters, it's fitting that they're right next to each other. We got Rick from Friday 3 and Rob from Friday 4. It's fitting that they are next to each other because they both look like they're going to be formidable opponents for Jason Voorhees, and both went out with a fucking pathetic whimper. Just for that, they're both fart heads. I'm sorry. Robert Campbell is a dead fuck from Jason Goes to Hell. He does have that good line where he's like, last night I stole her body, and then I went home and fucked her daughter. I mean, it's a douchebag line, but it's a classic Jason Goes to Hell line. But the guy sucks. Next, we got the chick that was, I think I said her earlier. I must have been mistaken, but this is the chick that laughs in that nerd's face when he tries to hit on her from Friday 5. Other than that, she's a nobody. Who cares? Next, we got, I think this is the chick. Oh, this is the chick that's thrown out the window in New Blood. She's a Who. Next, we got the main girl from Jason X. She's a Who. It's sad that another final girl is going in the middle, but that's how I feel. This nerdy paintballer guy, he had a good scene where he's running, right? I mean, he's kind of a fart head. He just sprints, and then we find his body. He's a dweeb. He is a dweeb. All right, next we got Roy Burns. Roy Burns. Roy's a character that I could make a case for iconic. I could make a case for dead fuck. The guy stares at a mean camera. I'll give him that. We're going to put Roy Burns in relatively memorable. I can't put him down at the bottom, but I can't put him up high. Next looks like another dweeb from either Friday 5 or Friday 7. That tells you all you need to know. He can go in the Who category. Samantha from Friday 4. She's relatively memorable. She's a good death scene. Unfortunate what happened to the actress. She's in Weird Science too. But she's a good death scene. And she showed Corey Feldman his first boobs, right? Next, we got Sandra, the underage chick from Friday 2. I like her. She is memorable as a character because she's so curious about Camp Blood. She is the one that wants to keep exploring that. She's like us, right? Where we'd be like curious about that. Unless we're smart and we want to stay away from there. But I like her curiosity. Next, we got the chick from Friday 4 that is running around the towel like the virgin chick. She looked like a sweet actress, sweet girl, but not one of the most memorable characters. She can be in the Who. All right, now we got the dude from Freddy vs. Jason, the cop, deputy or whatever that believes him, played by the guy that always was in every movie in the late 90s, early 2000s. He can go in the Who category as well. All right, next we got Vicky from Friday 2. You guys can see who I'm throwing all these Who characters in that I just don't have an opinion on them. But there's a lot of good characters and a lot of shitty characters left still. So, and we still have both versions of Tommy Jarvis. That's good. But Vicky from Friday 2, the one that is into Mark, she is a relatively memorable character. I like her character. Seems like a sweet girl. She knows where to spray that perfume, if you know what I'm saying. And she is relatively memorable. Next, we got Shelly. Shelly, the man responsible for giving Jason his hockey mask. Right? Where should I put Shelly? Technically, he's iconic in the franchise. But technically, he's also a dead fuck. For me, I just don't find him that good of a character. I'm going to put him in the fart head. We're going to split the difference, except we're splitting it down low. He's a fart head. The dude's playing pranks on kids, or on his friends, that he's dead? What the fuck? And put in the work with Vera, man. Put in the fucking work. You fucked up, dude. You fucked up. You think actors are the asshole? You're the asshole, Shelly. I'm not. I love Larry Zerner's performance. It's not that, but the character sucks. Next, we got Tina Shepard's mom. You know, for her haircut alone, she should be iconic, right? No, she's okay. She's a Who. She's another person that belongs in the Who category. Next, we have Sheriff Garris, Megan's father. A guy that you love to hate, right? Not me. This guy is just doing his damn job, and when push comes to shove, he takes Jason on. He knows when to hide. Except when he sees Jason going after his daughter, he risks his life, and it's a brutal back-bending death. I love Sheriff Garris. He is a stupendous character. One of my favorite characters in the franchise. Next, we have another paintball moron. He can go into Who. Steve Christie. Steve Christie. I'm not a huge fan of his character, but he's so memorable and so important to the Friday lore that he is going to go into relatively memorable. Next, who is this character? She is one of the characters on the boat from Friday, at the beginning, from Jason Takes Manhattan. She just lays there and dies. She's a fart head. You need to move. Jason was pushing that dart or spear gun or whatever down so slow to you. You should have moved. Next, looks like maybe, judging by his earpiece, he might be a Jason X soldier. He can go into Who. The mean girl from Jason Takes Manhattan is next. She's memorable because for two reasons. Number one, she tried to get Charles McCullough to pass her on her exam by framing him for seducing him. Why are they grading an exam after graduation? Another story. But number two, when Jason kills her, you know, he's slowly lowering that shard of glass to her. Look at the actress's performance. You can tell she's genuinely terrified. So yeah, she's a bitch in the movie. She pushes in Rennie in the water. But she's memorable for me. Next, we got Trey from Freddy vs. Jason. He's a dead fuck. Guy's a douchebag. Complete douchebag. He deserved what Jason did to him. Next, we got Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear, the one who invented the term dead fuck, ironically, is a dead fuck himself. Might be the biggest, let's saying something here. Who's the biggest loser in the Friday franchise? That's a video. Blake and Ronnie, if you're watching this still, after almost 50 minutes here, if you're watching this, biggest losers in the Friday the 13th franchise. That's a video idea. But Teddy's right near the top of that list. Next, we got Terry from Friday 2. She's definitely memorable. We'll say that. She is definitely memorable. Next, we got a couple rando cops. Looks like one from Friday 6 maybe, and then one from the... Okay, so Friday 6 cop is a Who, and the next one looks like the guy that dropped Steve Christie off. Also a Who. Okay, next we got, can't remember her name, but she's played by Pamela Sue Voorhees. She's the one that was fucking in the woods. Why are you fucking in the woods? Why? Doesn't matter. She's still memorable. If you know what I'm saying. Next, we got the other twin. They're both fart heads. So she joins her sister as a fart head. We're down to just a few more of these guys. We're chugging along here. Next, we got Tina. Tina she had the potential to be iconic, but I think she was played just a little too whiny. Even so, she's memorable. Okay? So with just a few left here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We only got 7 iconic. That's what I want. I want to keep the iconic characters. I want to keep them as an elite category. 7 of them. And one of them's Freddy Krueger, barely counts. Okay, next we got Corey Feldman's version of Tommy Jarvis. He belongs up. See, it's too big. I can't even get him down there. So he is actually going to be in iconic. Yep. Corey Feldman's version of Tommy is iconic. But is John Shepard's version from Part 5 iconic? No. John Shepard's version is so uniconic. Uniconic, is that a word? We're going to put him in Who? Why? Because Tommy disappears for most of the goddamn movie. Dumb. Okay. Next, we got Kimberly Beck's character of Tommy's sister. Not Megan Jarvis. What the hell's her name? Trish Jarvis. She also brought the fight to Jason. I think she's a stupendous character. Can't quite put her as high as her brother, but she is a stupendous character. Next, we got lame dude from Jason X. He's going to go in the Who. Another character, I have no idea who the fuck she is. She can go into Who. All right, next we got Vera from Friday 3. You could make an argument that Vera is more interesting than any other character in Friday 3. I like her character a lot. She is going to go into stupendous. I think she's a fantastic character with a lot of depth that is a little bit unexplored, but they give you little tastes of it before she dies, and she's got an awesome death. First person Jason ever killed in the hockey mask, right? Next we got, it's got to be a chick from like Friday 5, maybe? I don't know. She's going to go into Who. Next we got Vic, the man that started the events of Friday 5 by putting an axe in Joey's back. Vic, we barely saw you, but you were memorable. You go into relatively memorable. And I think this next guy is the one that got the road flare stuck in his mouth. No innuendo there, right? In Friday 5. He's going to go into Who. Next, we got, is that Violet from Friday 5, yeah. She's relatively memorable because of her dance. I can't even recreate it. It's a hell of a dance. No, it's a cool scene, though. Her original death would have been a lot more graphic, that's for sure. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Violet's death. Cut death in Friday 5. Next, we got the dude from Jason Goes to Hell that gets his arm snapped in half outside the diner. Brutal scene. He's going to go in the Who category. Looks like another Jason X guy that can go in the Who category. We got John Ritter's kid in Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know where to put this guy. I think he's kind of a fart head. So we're going to go with that. We're going to go with my instincts. I mean, he just wasn't a memorable character. He wasn't a good character. And he's one of the leads of the movie, which is sad. And last, looks like we got David Cronenberg from Jason X. Cronenberg can't be anything except for relatively memorable. All right. So, I'm not going to name everything here, but I'm going to give you one last look at the list, especially the top and the bottom. As you can see, most are in the Who category because they just weren't but we have a lot of relatively memorable characters, a lot of fart heads. Iconic, just to narrow it down, we got 2, 4, 6, 8 characters in Iconic, 8 out of 155. I think that math is just about right because when you have 50 people in Iconic, the word iconic loses its meaning, right? But in iconic, I got Ginny, I got Chris, I got 2 versions of Tommy Jarvis, Freddy and Jason, Pamela Voorhees, and Crazy Ralph. I think that's pretty decent. In Stupendous, I have Megan, Ali, Demon, Ethel, Crispin Glover, Jimbo, Julius, Mark, Melissa, that's a controversy right there, Paul Holt, Reggie the Reckless, Sheriff Garris, Trish, and Vera. And let's just go down and look at the dead fucks. We have the Admiral from Jason Takes Manhattan, the dumbass dweeb from Jason Takes Manhattan, Charles McCullough from Jason Takes Manhattan. Jesus, they're a theme here. Eddie from The New Blood, John Shepard from The New Blood, Lieberman from Freddy vs. Jason, the dumbass cop guy, one of them, from Jason Goes to Hell, Robert Campbell from Jason Goes to Hell, Trey from Freddy vs. Jason, and Teddy Bear from the final chapter. So, this was a long-ass video, guys. If you're still watching, I appreciate the fuck out of you. Don't be a dead fuck. And like I said, tell me down below what I got right, what I got wrong, and what you agree and disagree with. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.